after the 7-day water fast is when I'm going to get started on that Bible study show that I said I was going to do, podcast, whatever you want to call it. Uh, like I said before, it's pretty much me going through the Bible beginning to end. And each show will consist of just reading one chapter of the Bible a day. And after the chapter, we're going to go over it and see what we learned from it. What lessons can we take out of it, and how can we apply that to life, or what does it mean in the bigger picture? So that's still coming. Excuse my sweaty shirt. I was just in the sauna. If you know me, you know I love the sauna. And I did the 10-mile run today. I ain't trying to flex, but yeah, boy, had to get it in. Well, for real. If I look at my Apple Watch over the entirety of the day, I actually went over 13 and a half miles. So that's my total distance on the day today. So yeah, my legs is burnt out. I'm tired, but you gotta grind and get it. I'm trying to lose this weight, man. And I understand a lot of people say, cardio only gets rid of water weight. I was lifting too. Yeah, I did some strength. I did some lifting. You know what I'm saying? So, but you got to get it how you live it, man. I've been eating bad for a long time. I put on a lot of weight. A lot of people put on their quarantine 15 or COVID 15, like how people put on freshman 15. I put on my quarantine like damn near 30 over the span of this whole year, because I've been on this mission eating good. You know what I'm saying? It's been good food, catered and stuff. So I got some work to do. So yeah, right now I'm fasting. I'm trying to, cleanse the body, cleanse the colon and all that. Speaking of colon, something crazy that's happened since the last time is, Chadwick Boseman passed away, sadly, from colon cancer, and all jokes aside, that was pretty tough for me. I know it was tough for the Black community in general. I actually met Chadwick. All right, so it's story time. I'm gonna go into story time. All right, so it was 2016. 2016, I met Chadwick Boseman. He was shooting Marshall, that came out in 2017, but he was shooting it in Buffalo, New York. And what was crazy was a lot of people that I knew kept running into him and taking pictures of him and stuff. So I was on Elmwood Street actually for a meeting that day. At my time, I was with this group called Morningstar Promotions, back when I was doing music. And, we was just meeting that day discussing stuff. And we was actually with brother Amon Rashidi, doing stuff with the Griot Nation, and trying to discuss how we can kind of collaborate and do some work together. And we were on Elmwood Street in front of like this juice bar. And this guy comes walking up that looks very familiar to me. And you got to understand, I played football all my life. I played basketball all my life. And I went to a couple different schools. And I used to go to a lot of parties. So I know a lot of people. I'm not trying to say I'm like the most popular man or nothing, but I know a lot of people. So when I see people, sometimes I can't put their name to their face. But if I know a face, I know a face. So I was going up to greet him and say, hey, how you doing, man? I can't put my finger on where I know you from, but what's good? And so as I'm walking up to him, I get right in front of him and I'm about to say that. And then it snaps in my head, this is Chadwick Boseman. And I literally said, oh, shit, you're Chadwick Boseman. And he's like, yeah, what's up? So then I slapped him up and I was like, yo, I just saw you and Get On Up. Like, I'm a huge James Brown fan, James Brown fan, because, I used to be that type of artist where it was the whole singing, dancing component of entertaining. And so, I studied the greats, whether it was James Brown, Michael Jackson, Usher, Chris Brown, Omarion, all that type of musicianship where it's like, you're singing, but you're not just standing there. You're an actual visual entertainer with your dancing and stuff. That was up my alley. Like, that's what I used to do. That's what I used to love. And so seeing him emulate James Brown like that, it was very powerful to me. But the thing is, I've been watching Chadwick Boseman since he was on the show I used to watch with my brothers and sisters called Lincoln Heights, where he was actually like the older brother. So I saw him on that. I saw him on 42. And then I was real happy to see him get the role of the Black Panther. So, once he was on Black Panther, I knew he was about to be out of there. But the thing was, he was the Black Panther at that time only in Civil War. And if you didn't watch Marvel yet, which a lot of people still didn't at that time, you wouldn't have known that. But I knew he was about to get a standalone movie. And I told him, I said, yo, when you do that Black Panther movie, you're about to go to like the next level. Like I was telling everybody, I was like, yo, y'all better get a picture of this man. He gonna be the next Denzel. That's all I kept saying. And he's like, nah, man. He said, I'm just cool and I'm enjoying the moment. But he was like very appreciative, but he was very humble at the same time. And so pretty much he was very humble. He was chilling. And I told the people I was with who was older than me, like once again, these was all adults I was surrounded by trying to, we was trying to do some music together. And I was already in business, like I said, with Morningstar Promotions, but they were like my OGs at the time, so these were adults that were like managing me and stuff at the time. And so they didn't really follow what he was in. They just knew he was a movie star and he was shooting a movie here. So they're like, oh, that's cool. So they about to shoot a movie about the Black Panthers. And then he started laughing. He's like, yeah, they don't know what you're talking about. He said, I get that a lot, from the older crowd. And I was like, nah, he's going to be the superhero Black Panther in Marvel. And they was like, oh, so yeah, but it was like a funny moment. But so he goes inside, and then pretty much Amon Rashidi, he's like, yo, we got to get an interview with this guy. So he sends in his assistant, or no, his manager, I'm sorry, excuse me. He sends in his manager, Pearly Gates, and Pearly Gates goes in and asks him, hey man, can we get an interview with you? And Chadwick Boseman was like, oh no, I'm not doing interviews right now. I'm just in between shoots for this movie and I'm just trying to enjoy my break, which I understood. So Pearly Gates came back out. He was a little tight. He was like, man, he ain't trying to give us no interview. But this is what really stood out to me. So this man, Chadwick Boseman, comes outside. Like, this man is a whole bona fide movie star at this point. You know what I'm saying? He done made his money. He's worth well over, multi-millionaire. This man is rich. He did his thing. He won in life. He's successful. He has no reason to talk to us after we already just gave him his props. And he came outside because he was a real dude. It was like, yo, I'm sorry I couldn't give y'all that interview, but I just wanted to show y'all love and show y'all that I appreciate y'all. It's just I can't take interviews when my publicist is not around. Like, I'm here with my assistant, but my publicist, he's not in Buffalo with me, and I can't take interviews without him. Like, that's how it goes. And he shook our hands and sat with us for like a couple more minutes and still, chopped it up with us. And for me, to see a bona fide movie star like that, like, mind you, this was during his ascension, but he already was well known. He wasn't Chadwick Boseman, the Black Panther yet. Like, everybody didn't recognize him because the Black Panther, that movie came out 2 years later. But I knew who he was, and a lot of people knew who he was, and he knew what he was heading towards. But at that time, he was the movie star in Buffalo. Like, he was starring in Thurgood Marshall, the Thurgood Marshall movie, the movie Marshall. So the fact that he came back out there and chopped it up with us and made sure that, like, he wasn't disrespectful to, like, the elders in his community, people in the Griot Nation and stuff, and he showed love and chopped it up with us for a minute. Like, that humility, that made me respect him so much. You know what I'm saying? And I never forgot that. And I always thought in my head, like, I'm gonna meet that dude again. Like, yo, that was real dope. So when he died, man, that really hit hard. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna cry or nothing. I shed my tears though, definitely. But to know that he was battling cancer during even that time when we met him, that was in the summer 2016. So if he wasn't battling cancer at that moment, he might have still had it in his system and just not got diagnosed yet. Or, later on that year possibly is when he got diagnosed. But just to know, like, at that time, like, he had stuff wrong with him, it's like unbelievable. And it's like you don't never want to see nobody go through something like that, especially a good person like that, But he was my favorite actor, to be honest. And it's not no, like, hopping on a bandwagon joint. Like, everybody knows I love Chadwick Boseman, man. And so that was a really tough blow. But I was happy to learn that he was saved. He did believe in God. If you listen to his Howard speech, his commencement speech, he was preaching the gospel and stuff. And so that made me definitely feel better about the whole situation. He definitely had a reverence for God. He never gave up on his faith. And so, I mean, I'm not God. So I don't know what these people do behind closed doors. And, at the end of the day, You know, we always wonder what celebrities went to heaven. You know, they always come out with the memes of Kobe, Tupac, and Nipsey Hussle, and Biggie Smalls, and everybody in heaven. Truth is, everybody ain't gonna go to heaven. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make sure you get into heaven. But I think he made sure he did. You know what I'm saying? I hope he had his stuff right with the Lord. I think he might have got in, but that's not my call. That's God's call. People always say only God can judge me. But what you gonna do when that time comes, you know? So I say that to say this. You definitely want to leave behind a good legacy like Chadwick Boseman did. You know what I'm saying? When he was gone, only people only had positive things to say about him. You know, there was only good things. Nothing negative came out about him. No wild stories. No nothing. It was just people was all hurt. Like people was all heartbroken from the news. And when you leave this earth, that's what you want to leave behind. Yes, he had a great legacy with his movies, but as a person, like what did you contribute as a person to society? And you know, and of course, you know, we already know these bodies are temporary. So did you give your life to Christ? That's the ultimate crux of what I'm saying. That's what matters most. So yeah, but with that, I'm gonna say peace. It's an update for me. I'm trying to get this thing off the ground. You know what I'm saying? This is still the early foundations. But yeah, much love. God bless. Y'all stay safe. Peace.